Covington, which is our special guest today, to call in. She'll be calling in at about 5:30. So give us a call. Tell us about you when you first fell in love with jazz. Who was your favorite jazz artist? I think for me, my favorite was Miles Davis. Um, I don't know why, but just listening to his sultry music just made me relax. You know, something about jazz really just relaxes me. I like listening to it when I'm working, um, doing research. I find that it doesn't distract me as much as other music does. So, and I know that jazz has these tones, these methodic rhythms to it as well that triggers the brain. So, I don't know if that has something to do with it as well. But we're going to try to get another tune on here from Sky. Let me see, what do we have here? This is something from a few years ago, a live performance.
That puts me a little bit in the mind of Billie Holiday, listening to that.
Just sounds like an old soul.
Hmm. You know, there's some jazz songs that put you in a mood,
Mm-hmm.
and that's mood music.
Right.
And I couldn't put that in if I was driving a long distance, because that's kind of that mellow song that might put me to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to that, but
This is one that you want to have a glass of
it,
wine
it's a mood.
with,
It's a mellow mood
or
that you want to be in.
right, something to like. If say you're taking a nice
Right.
hot long bubble bath, you
Hmm.
can put this on, like some candles, and
Or you
just
sitting in front
enjoy.
of a fireplace, looking out from a picture window out into the ocean or something like that.
Yeah.
But it puts you in a romantic type mood, and you may want to get up, take that special person, and twirl them around the room a couple of times, and just do that little slow, that little slow dance with
Yeah,
them.
say I love you, baby.
Yeah, and put a little bit of that Barry White voice in, when you start to talking to her. But that's that mood that really just puts you in the mind to really like make that phone call to somebody special to kind of say, hey, I might have to pay somebody a visit, or just to go and be with somebody special during that time.
Right.
But it's something that you want to enjoy, but you sometimes want to enjoy it with that special person as well.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. So, Yes, that was nice. That was nice. It did put me in kind of like a nice little mellow
Hmm.
mood. I think when I leave here, I'm gonna have to I don't know. I might have to bust up a bottle of wine here because we had plenty.
Well, you better make sure that you drive safely going home if that's the case. Now.
No, I'm not gonna indulge today. Not today, ladies and gentlemen. So when who's your favorite jazz artist?
I've got so many, but I'll say I love jazz. I loved Charles Erlin.
Mm.
I loved Grant Green. Loved Wes Montgomery, and I love Lonnie Liston Smith. I mean, there's so many of them, but like right now, the contemporary ones,
Mhm.
I like Kenny G.
Okay.
Um, I can listen to some jazz artists and recognize who it is. Kenny G, I mean, I know. And, and the thing is, it's just like there's so many, depending on the mood that I'm in, as to what I like to listen to.
Mhm.
Grant Green, I loved. I loved a group called Incognito.
Oh yeah.
And, and so it's so many. I love Mesa, and
I kind of like this new cat that's around too. Damien Escobar.
he's been around but a little bit, but I love him.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love
he's
him
part
as
of that
well.
new
Yeah,
generation too, cause he's what in his 20s.
yeah.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing, because it's like when you see some of the even like some of the local artists,
Mhm.
there's a lot of inspiration that they get from some of the artists that played back in the day. Because when you think about Bumping on Sunset, Wes Montgomery, you know, there's songs that you listen to and you wonder who performed that or what's the name of that.
Right.
And when you find out, you like, wow, you've been singing that all along.
And not even knowing that it was
Who it was.
right.
And you may hear it, and just start humming it, and all of a sudden somebody's like, what's the name of that? And then you got to research to find out what the name of that song was. But see, for me, I would always have to go and get a tape recorder, or I'd have to get my phone and record it because I could never hear the song was too long to find out who it was. But when I hear the Kenny G's, when I listen to some of the older jazz artists, I just, as I said, it's hard for me to just pick one, but I can name people that like I loved Les McCann,
Mhm.
Eddie Harris. Got to make it real compared to what? That was my jam. Love that song. I could listen to that even like right now. And the same thing when it comes down to Milt Jackson.
Mhm.
There's a song called Sunflower. And, there's so many, that I love. But when I think about Mesa, when I think about Incognito, when I think in terms of, say, of some of the others that I could sing along with, even the Street Life.
Mhm.
I think that was that from that movie Sharky's Machine, and uh, I think of Randy Crawford.
I don't know.
There's a song that she did. I say the street life, 'cause there's no place
Oh
I can
yes,
go.
yes.
Street life,
Right.
don't get me to start singing. But
We're gonna get you a album.
right,
You never know here.
be the measure of a man again, but it's like the low measure of a man. But when you talk about jazz, there was a lot of jazz was not just resigned to just black jazz artists,
You're
but
right.
there's a lot of white jazz artists. I used to love a group called Traffic,
Okay.
the Low Sparker High Heel Boys, and I used to love John Clemmer. Used to love Lee Michaels. I mean, so many jazz artists. See, I'm gonna make some of the listeners go and like look up some of these people
Well,
and say, wait
good.
a
We
minute.
might need to do that. So we are it's 6:22, and we're here at Jazz Cat We're talking about jazz. We had Darwin Griffin in the audience, here in the studio with us. I'm so glad that you stayed. We just ended another show and we kind of just stepped right on into this one and changed the whole topic, right?
Hmm.
From mental health to jazz. How about that? But it all is sparks. I think jazz actually helps with mental health because I actually will have clients listen to jazz
Hmm.
music to help with their anxiety. Not necessarily depression, but definitely anxiety. Because it gives them sometimes added energy. It elevates their mood. And again, jazz music, some tones actually trigger our brain. So it will, if you're feeling anxious, sometimes even depressed, certain tunes or tones will stimulate your brain and say, hey, maybe we do need to not be as anxious.
Hmm.
So, and there's studies out there that talks about that, but I don't want to talk, technical mental health or anything about that. You were talking about your brother, and you say he plays an instrument, right?
Yeah, he played when he was in high school. He played the like I said, he played the alto sax, and I used to really, I was really jealous of him because
Mm-hmm.
he would come home and I used to be envious of the guys that used to go and carry the instrument, and be walking, getting on the bus or walking down the street carrying their instrument because you could tell from the shape of the case what they played. And and
Oh.
then the other thing too, like with my brother, because he played the saxophone, he would always take the mouthpiece and always be, you know, making sure that the reed was wet, in terms of say to make certain that it, had the same type of tone that he wanted to get,
Mm-hmm.
from it. But they would also have the strap that they would have to go and wear around their neck, the little lanyard, so they could hold the saxophone up or whatever other instrument, that sometimes that they played. But I used to really love to hear um, the like when my brother would come home, he'd start to play an instrument. Neighbors across the street, everybody knew when my brother would start to rehearsing,
Mm-hmm.
and he was good. He was extremely gifted when it came down to that. I always wanted to play the piano,
Mm-hmm.
and I did self teach myself how to play piano and play the organ. And I've got an organ, even in my house that I love to play. I can't read a lick of music, but I still like to play. I play by ear,
Okay.
and I can. There's a song by a guy named Horace Silver called "The Song for My Father"
Mm-hmm.
that I can play that real good. Only problem that I just have is trying to play with two hands, but
Well,
that's a science right there.
it is, and now speaking of that, we're gonna play one of Sky's songs from Off Club Crescendo Volume 3. We're gonna be listening to jazz poems.
Fugue, jazz, and then there was the sky. It's blues, it's Dixie, it's bebop, it's swing, it's jive, it's bop, it's boogie, it's wings. This is my jazz poem. I rumble through the melodies, from street to street, from ghettos to ghettos, trying to wing and find myself in the scat of my everyday inhibitions. I pranced and danced. I romanced. I did everything that made jazz, but I was still trying to learn jazz because you see, this is my jazz poem. Hey, sweet Papa Satchmo. Hey, Duke. I am 400 years of music, ripped and tattered, stitch by stitch, soiled and blood stained. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen, she's seen, he's seen. But when you listen to jazz, you were right there, right in the midst of the blood and the wind and the dust in my lips, on my chin.
talking deep.
This is the Congo Square as it rumbled through the clouds. And as she spread her legs like a hot trombone, Jasmine is with her.
This is an interesting song.
Interesting the words that she's putting, you know. When she,
In between my toes as they wiggle.
I don't think she's talking about jazz as music. I think jazz is something else.
He plays that note so beautiful when the horn plays and then the drum and then you can hear Mr. Dunlap do that slam thing he does with the drum. I mean, this is just so unbelievable. It's amazing how Mr. Eagle Jones plays that upright bass. I mean, it's like ain't nothing like it.
you know, but you know that's the thing with some of these jazz artists. They can take a regular R&B song and convert it into a jazz
Yes.
album. You know, and that's the thing that I love with jazz, because you can get all types of interpretations of a song and put like the drums, the organ, the xylophone, you know, so many different instruments that they utilize when it comes to a jazz song.
Right.
And I'm so grateful.
Because I'm listening to this as a jazz song, but it really sounds to me more like a spoken word.
You know, it makes me think back to something that, like the Last Poets, or you know, somebody like that that would sing almost like rap, like it was a precursor to rap.
Right.
Outside of just, you know, there was more instrumentation, you know, in it. But I like it. I mean, especially because I love to hear the piano solos like that. I love that.
Oh, nature of jazz. Your intent is undeniable. The way you lay it like glass, like just squeaky clean. Like babies being birthed. Like kites flying and sun shining. Just simple things, you know. Water to a seed. A man to a woman. Jazz to my soul, soul to my spirit, my heart to Yah, and all the things in between. I mean, jazz, you saved me. I was searching the 7 seas. Or 11. I was moving down, moonwalking, blinded by the light. I mean the darkness. I mean the whiskey. Jameson. I mean 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean
There's a little transition there.
confused. I wanted to be something deeper than myself. And then Jazz knocked on my door one night. And he said, your head buried between what seems to be your legs that could not save you from their lasso. You got so much to give to this earth. So why are you going backwards?
You know, another person she reminds me of is Jill Scott. You know, kind of push you in the mind like some of Jill Scott's songs that she would do. Almost borderline, you know,
Right.
jazz. The way you hear her speaking, just like the way that Scott Covington is
Right.
speaking.
Legacy of jazz. Move, queen. To the heart, queen of jazz. Remind them of where we came from and our cornbreads they hand maps to me. Jazz.
Oh, she tells she was feeling it right there. that was Sky Covington from off of Crescendo Volume 3, and that was Jazz Poem. So check that out, ladies and gentlemen. Get that album downloaded on Spotify. There's multiple ways that you can watch. And um, hello, caller. Welcome to Jazz Cat. Who do we have on the line with us?
Yes. Hello?
Hello, Sky.
Yes.
Hi, Sky. This is Dr. Thomas, and you had Darwin Griffin here with us. Honey, did not make it in today, so I am covering for her. So, how are you, Queen?
Oh, I'm feeling good. I'm watching the show on WJZZ Cool TV
Okay.
on Facebook, and just it's kind of surreal watching you both listen to my jazz poem. I feel like sitting in my living room and me telling all my business.
So, let me ask you, Sky, what was going through your life when you made that particular song?
It just a combination of like everything that I've experienced with growing into a jazz musician. Um, some bittersweet days, and some triumphs, and some love affairs, and
Ooh,
some
some
drunken
love
nights after the
affairs.
gig, and some love, and some making love, and some repentance, like the whole thing. We did that on drums. We had Gene Dunlap on drums, Jimmy Blues on piano, Ibrahim Jones on upright bass, and John Douglas on trumpet.
Mhm.
So those are my favorite cats. Some of the major cats that I really respect in the business. So that piece was actually improv piece, and it just came out. It just came out all these little things that I vision or I dream about or I've been through. I just put it in that song.
Okay. Now I'm actually getting ready to play Club Crescendo. Do you want to introduce this song for us?
Club Crescendo is actually another original, and Club Crescendo. When I lived in New Orleans for about 15 years, and 2 of those years I was blessed to open up a jazz club, and it
Mm.
was called Club Crescendo. And some of my most favorable times in that is after the gig when the guys came and hung out with us, and so that's what the song is about. It's about what happens after the gig and that kind of church that we have together.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what happens after the gig. And we're welcome to Club Crescendo. Let's see. Uh-oh. I don't know what's going on with Club Crescendo. This one it doesn't seem to want to play. Sky, so here we go.
Had the look of many men, pride in his eyes, and established grain. He was on the hunt for anything that would move him, soothe him, and prove him, lose him in any other blues but his own.
Sky, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How old were you when you first began to sing?
How old when I first
Yes.
uh got just a kid, probably about 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
And did you
Hmm.
think that you would be at be doing this for a living, or was it just more as a hobby?
No, it was destined. Yeah, it was destined. I always knew that I was gonna be a singer. I always knew I was gonna be able to take care of my family and doing it, and I would be able to change some form of ideas with my music. So yeah, I pretty much knew.
Sky, this is Darwin. When did you know that you wanted to sing jazz?
Wait a second. I'm having let me see. Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
When did I know I wanted to sing jazz?
Yes.
I knew I wanted to sing jazz the very first time I saw a lady sing the blues.
Ah.
Uh, yeah, I knew then, and then when I was younger, I saw it. I think I'm 49. I think Lady Sing the Blues came out in 1973. I had to be about 7 when I saw it first, but I think I turned about 13 or 14, and I saw it again as a teenager,
Mhm.
and then I kind of understood what 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 was happening in the movie. And then but I had a real attachment to Billie Holiday even as a kid. I had a real deep attachment to her music, and I would listen to it all the time. And then so I just kind of knew from uh I kind of knew after going through a span of music. Like I started doing the poetry, then
Mhm.
I started doing these original short women shows, one woman shows, and then I started doing the Billie Holiday tribute. But I wasn't coined a jazz singer until 2000. I think when won my first Detroit Music Award.
In
I do remember
2016?
my. Hmm.
Was that in 2016?
And that was 2000. Well, it's been it was 2011, I think.
Okay, cuz I know you won
Uh, uh,
something an award in 2016 as well.
yeah, I won. I am grateful. I won the Detroit Music Award now 8 times in the
Mhm.
span of 10 years,
Yes,
and
congratulations.
yes, thank you. It's such an honor, and my first time being recognized. I was on the main stage, and one of my mentors and good friends, R.J. Spangler, gave me the award, and I made it I said Detroit said I was a jazz singer, so that's when I became a jazz singer.
You know, RJ
With
was the first person that I actually interviewed on the show. I was just standing in for Honey. He was here
really.
too, yeah. So it's coincidence that he actually introduced you for your award.
Yeah, he actually introduced me. R.J. Spangler was also the gentleman that booked me at the Cliff Bales for the first time.
Okay.
I had 3 sets there, and I got a chance to perform with Alberta Adams,
Wow.
the late Alberta Adams, blues singer, through RJ, and just a plethora of things happened. But yeah, so I would say I became a jazz singer when Detroit said I was a jazz singer
They
because that was
told you
like
you
for
were a jazz singer. They told you.
yeah, and I mean I wanted to be a jazz singer, but I knew I had to do a lot of work to
Mhm.
do that, to call myself one. And so yeah, I think it was about 2000, about 2000, between 2009 and 2013.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into Jazz Cats on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world, streaming live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. And we have Sky Covington on the phone with us, and we're joined in the studio by Mr. Darwin Griffin. Darwin, you had a question.
Guy, I want to ask you a question, and I don't know if you've
Okay.
been asked this question before, but what comes first, the music or the words?
Ooh, good question. That's a question that I would
You
ask.
said what comes first, the music or the?
Or the lyrics? What comes first?
That is a great question. For me, the lyrics always come first because I'm a poet.
Mm.
So always the lyrics, the love letter, the journal entries, kind of dictates um, what what I'm trying to relay, and then the music. If I'm blessed enough to meet that music, then it always kind of meshes together. So for me, the lyrics would be the first.
And I just want to ask you one other question too. What
Okay.
instrument does a musician play that makes you think it's jazz? I mean, is there a particular instrument that if you didn't have it on one of your songs, it wouldn't really? I mean, basically, what's your favorite instrument that you like to have on
My
your songs?
favorite, my favorite instrument would be the trumpet.
Mm.
That would be my favorite all-time instrument.
Is there any trumpets? Is there any person that played the trumpet that you would like to perform with, past or present?
That you haven't already performed with.
Well, yeah, I would Dwight Adams. I would love to have him on my show, but we've performed together several times through the years, and I was honored to date Kid Chocolate Brown for a short time when I lived in New Orleans, and he just being around him and seeing how trumpet players live their life and how just he I think he performed Body and Soul for me,
Hmm.
a solo, and I just fell in love after that with the trumpet.
Well, speaking of
So
falling in love, we're
hmm
actually going to play Love for Sale.
okay.
That was a nice segue in there, wasn't it, right?
Yes, very nice, very nice.
And again, this is from Club Crescendo.
for sale. Appetizing young. Love for sale. Love expression still unspoiled. Love is only slightly so your love. Love for sale. Now, who will buy?
how long did it take for you to write this song?
The Love for Sale is a Cole Porter tune.
Is that why it sounds familiar? Okay.
Cole Porter, Love for Sale. Yeah.
Now let me ask this: Did what price is have you paid for love?
What price have I paid for love?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's such a great question. I paid the ultimate price because I know that I don't follow the world. I'm not a worldly person anymore.
Mhm.
I kind of family, um, yeah, my children, and my music. So my ultimate price is kind of letting the world go, like the 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 naughty parts of the world.
Mm.
so yeah, I let all that kind of go, and I'm just more I'm more into our loving our people and just doing more for our people and just being a part of that scene instead of the other side of that. So that was and in the industry sometimes that part can be a little detrimental to your progression as far as like where you will go and what you would do for your career. I
Mm.
feel like as long as I'm loved by my husband, I love working for JZZ Jazz Radio. I love my children, my grandchildren, and I love my community. That's to me making it. And if God gives me anything outside of that, it's just another cherry on top. But I'm just not that hungry for all that other stuff.
Now you mentioned about children and grandchildren. Anybody
Hmm.
in the wings waiting to step up and be the next Sky Covington?
There can never be another Sky Covington. So.
Well, yeah, they're right. There could be, yeah, but they could, there can never be. But I do, I work with so many wonderful people, and I'm working with a guy, Rio Suma, on he just performed on the Voice,
Mm.
and he's he's not a jazz singer, but he can sing jazz if he chose, and Tim Ellerby. I have my sister, Goddess Tara. She's a performer. Um, so there's a lot of ambitious people like myself that's coming to the forefront. So yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now, Sky, what do you have coming up next? What should we be looking out for?
Oh, awesome. I am the also again working for WJZZ, so I'm there every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock with my show, The Preservation of Jazz Hour, which I'm really grateful for. I'm also performing. I'm entering the Kresge's grant, so I'm working on that now. That's due in January the 14th.
Okay.
I'm also the founder of Hug Detroit Day, so I do a lot of things for the community. And I wrote my book, Window Shopping, will be out in January. And also I'm doing a poetry CD. I'm going back to poetry, and I'm also going to be doing some work um, with Roger on that poetry project that he's doing. And for right now too, I'm just loving on my family. So that's like my main vein right now.
Okay. Well, Sky, I want to thank you for joining us. And
Thank
it was
you.
always a pleasure to have you here on Jazz Cats. And you can tune in each and every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. with Honey. And we are going to leave out on one of Sky's songs, Low, Low Love. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Low, Low
Okay,
Love.
thank you
Thank
for having me.
you. Thank
Okay
you.
then.
Bye
Peace
bye.
Bye.
to you. Bye bye.
We're out. How's that?
I think I always wanted to be a jazz DJ because I love jazz.
Well, you should come.
So
If
it
you're
just
gonna
it
be
just
doing
it just
shows.
gave me a chance